Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into really a monumental new conservation story.
Yeah.
The formal inscription of the Isamangaliso-Maputo Transboundary Park as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It was just declared July 13th, 2025.
That's right. A huge area.
Exactly. It's not just, drawing lines on a map. It's about connecting nearly 400,000 hectares across South Africa and Mozambique. The goal is protecting incredible biodiversity, fostering sustainable development.
Mm-hmm.
But, what really grabbed me is that this massive achievement, it's already facing this, almost paradoxical challenge.
And that's really the fascinating part here, isn't it? This initiative, it really embodies the modern philosophy of conservation.
How so?
Well, we're recognizing that ecological systems, migratory species, they just don't care about human borders, right?
Oh.
So it's got this dual mandate, ecological restoration and socioeconomic upliftment, mainly through ecotourism. Yet, like you said, it immediately throws up a really critical question. Can powerful conservation goals genuinely coexist with, well, equally powerful industrial development interests, or does one inevitably have to give way?
Okay, let's unpack the ecological success first, because honestly, it's pretty breathtaking.
It really is.
We're talking one of Africa's most outstanding coastal wetlands. You've got critically endangered leatherback and loggerhead turtles nesting there, even ancient coelacanths, living fossils.
Yeah.
The sheer biodiversity is just, wow.
Absolutely. And a huge part of that success story is the reestablishment of these critical ecological corridors.
Corridors, okay.
Think about this. Since 2010, they've reintroduced over 5,000 game animals into Maputo National Park alone.
5,000.
Yeah. But maybe the most critical achievement, symbolically and ecologically, was reopening the border fence with South Africa back in 2014.
Ah, so the animals can actually move between the countries now.
Exactly. It allowed elephant herds to move freely again. They've now joined up, forming a population of over 400 elephants across that border. It's a massive win for connectivity.
That's incredible. Elephants just crossing international borders like it's nothing. But hang on, you're saying a success like more elephants actually creates a challenge. How does that work?
Precisely. It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? But this success, brilliant as it is for conservation, it directly leads to a predicted increase in human-wildlife conflict.
Ah, okay. Like elephants raiding crops.
Exactly. Imagine you're a farmer, maybe your family hasn't seen an elephant near your village for generations, and suddenly there they are. It's a natural consequence of rewilding, but it's very complex. It needs really careful, proactive management alongside the celebration.
Okay, so ecological wins, but with tricky side effects. Let's pivot to the human side then. There's this enormous economic promise too, right? Through ecotourism.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan.
Maputo National Park is aiming for, US $2 million in annual revenue. And there's even a 20% revenue sharing scheme for local communities. That sounds like a potential game changer.
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The potential is definitely there, but if we look at the bigger picture, draw parallels with other big transfrontier areas, like, say, the Great Limpopo Transfrontier Park.
Okay.
We often see a pattern. These promised ecotourism benefits, they haven't always materialized effectively for the local communities on the ground.
Really? Why not?
Various reasons, but it can lead to deep mistrust. Sometimes these projects can feel a bit, well, paternalistic, like they're being done to communities, not with them. So the critical dilemma becomes, how do you actually ensure these benefits are genuinely equitable, truly inclusive for the people whose lives and lands are now part of this massive protected zone?
Right. And that brings us to what feels like the most compelling tension, the real head-scratcher here.
The ports, exactly. While all this conservation effort is being celebrated, there's this proposed Ponta Tecobani Deepwater Port and Rail Corridor, a huge US $6.5 billion industrial project.
Yeah.
And it falls directly within the World Heritage Site's buffer zone. I mean, how can both of those things exist at the same time? It seems completely contradictory.
It is. It's a direct contradiction, and that's the undeniable friction point. Here's the thing. Mozambique's official UNESCO nomination documents, they explicitly asserted currently no plans for the port. That statement was pretty crucial for getting the World Heritage status granted.
Okay, so they told UNESCO no port.
Right. But almost simultaneously, the African Development Bank approved a US $3 million grant specifically for the port's feasibility study. And then, get this, in August 2024, a high-level agreement to actually implement the project was signed. by the presidents of Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Botswana.
Wait, so they were saying no plans to UNESCO while actively planning it and signing agreements. It certainly appears that way. It signals a really profound conflict, doesn't it, between these powerful economic development interests and the long-term ecological integrity of a site the world just recognized as globally important. It makes you seriously question the real teeth, the enforceability of World Heritage status when push comes to shove.
So where does this leave things? For the future of this, landmark transboundary site, we've got these incredible ecological wins, this clear vision for sustainable development. But we've also got these really critical challenges: growing human-wildlife conflict, the whole complexity around making sure ecotourism benefits are shared fairly.
And the elephant in the room. Or rather, the port in the buffer zone.
Right, that unresolved paradox of a massive industrial project planned right inside the protected area.
It really makes you ponder, doesn't it, when these global conservation commitments clash so directly with national economic ambitions. How do we actually measure success? Is it just about the number of hectares protected or species brought back?
Or is it something more?
Or is it measured in the genuine, equitable upliftment of the communities whose lives are completely intertwined with these landscapes? And maybe the question for you, the listener, is, what steps would you prioritize? How would you try to resolve this central paradox to ensure the long-term sustainability of such a vital piece of global heritage?